My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the arch-villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and Subscribe-Star pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. My friends, I have been trying for years to understand why the MCU has gone straight down the proverbial toilet. Marvel has been publishing superhero comics since 1962, after all, so this is a company that knows how to tell comic book stories, at least in theory. Even if they've forgotten how to do it since Stan Lee and Jack Kirby passed away, they still have over 50 years of backlog and previous stories to draw from on any of the major characters like Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Hulk, Avengers, Thor, Captain America. Hell, they invented Captain America in the 1940s, so they have around 75 years worth of stories in his case. And yet, over and over and over again, the comic book movies they're bringing us these days are hollow shells, the visual equivalent of synthetic butter in a can. Granted, guys like Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, Captain Marvel, the bra variety, these characters only have maybe, 45 years worth of stories accumulated? But there's no excuse whatsoever for getting Fantastic Four wrong. My God, these comics laid the foundation for the Marvel Comics universe, and there are more stories to draw from than you can shake Thor's hammer at, in stick mode. How did they screw that up? Galactus came to Earth with a male herald in the comics, Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer. There was no damn baby then, and Galactus didn't want a baby. He just wanted to drain the Earth of its energy. They defeated him when Uatu, the Watcher, sent Johnny Storm to retrieve the ultimate nullifier from Galactus' ship, and Reed sussed out what it was, and it was such a terrifying weapon. Galactus beat a hasty retreat, freaking out when he saw Reed Richards holding it. What the hell is so hard about that? The comics were printed in full color back then. Why couldn't the shitty movie be in 4 colors too, instead of just blue? WT actual F is going on here? Fantastic Four First Steps is another in a string of recent box office flops for Marvel, and they're blaming everything from COVID, istophobe audiences, to superhero fatigue, but recent leaks from Beau DeMayo have opened up a lot of eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes, and it explains a lot. Thanks to him and other earlier whistleblowers, it's now pretty damn clear that it's arrogance that has brought the MCU to the brink of death. After all their early success, Marvel Studios felt bulletproof. They had a fan base that would gobble up any scraps they tossed our way. Girl power, woke bullshit, discarded canon, they didn't care. They thought they could do no wrong. They pursued their own agendas, ignored the comic books, what brung them to the dance, and this was perfectly illustrated by Beau DeMayo's post on X recently, wherein he described what it was like to be working at Marvel Studios, and in particular, what it was like to be in a meeting with Kevin Feige. What I'm about to share with you explains a lot about Feige and Esposito's attitude about comic books, and even worse, comic book fans. In short, if this info is correct, and I have no reason to believe it isn't, they have nothing but contempt and disdain for their customers, and that is not a recipe for success in a capitalistic society. Here's a recent post of Mr. DeMayo's that lays it all out. Quote, "Like Matt Shankman and the writers of Fantastic Four, I've sat in the creative meetings at Marvel Studios. They're horrible. You basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito and try to picture a movie while also realizing that Kevin just wants you to dictate his rushed thoughts. Victoria used to be in these, but Kevin and Lou had so mistreated her that in one of my Blade meetings, she just showed up with sugar cookies she'd bake to help improve morale. You're even told not to try to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy and it'll turn him off.
Yes, how brilliant a strategy that is. A company that makes comic book movies will not consider doing stories from the comics because it upsets the executives. Well, maybe those executives shouldn't be in that business then, it seems to me. It's like a pizza chef who dislikes cheese and thinks better of including it on his pizzas. Of course, without cheese, you can't really call them pizzas. It's like they're half pizzas. They're peas. Apparently, not ruffling the feathers of producers is more important than appealing to fans and making money for the company. Important note for future employees. Take heed.
I know. This shit is absolutely ridiculous. DeMeo continues, quote, "You sit and talk about craft and story and characters, only to have Kevin and Lou say, yeah, well, all we need to do is make sure it's fun, and etc., etc. There's no spark. There's no vision. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled as it slowly makes its way through the assembly gears of mediocre thinking and this weird hatred for their own product. This is why Rob Liefeld isn't just some bitter old man. Talking about the comic book writers is met with open contempt. I had to fight to get the Lewolds involved on X-Men 97, and even then, the dismissive news with which Dana Vasquez Eberhardt spoke about them, basically telling me the OG creators were meant to be seen, not heard, to appease fans. I wanted to co-write an ep with them, and that was Dana's response. I even remember wanting to talk to Chris Claremont and being shut down, or wanting Joe Madureira to do posters just as I was scolded for being too friendly with fans or coming off too much as one.
Oh, well, God knows you don't want to associate with scumbags and illiterates like fans. They're so stupid and childish, liking that comic book stuff. I suppose they feel soiled even having to stoop to the level of superhero movies. They'd rather do Shakespeare. Only, of course, rewritten, so the words aren't so fancy-pantsy.
Yeah. See, Marvel doesn't seem to understand this. When you actually look down on your customers and have no respect for them, after a while, you can't hide that shit. It comes out in your work, it creeps out around the edges, and eventually, even dimwits like us fans figure it out. And that's why so many times, when I say in my videos, I'm pulling for Marvel to pull out of this slump. I'm hoping Star Wars will get better. I get tons of responses slamming the door shut saying, to hell with Marvel, they've lost me and I am never coming back. I don't give a shit anymore. Just like when I mentioned the prospect that Gina Carano may come back to Star Wars, here are a few responses, and they are typical. Not exactly the kind of feedback that you want to be hearing. But this is where the fan bases are for Marvel and Star Wars. Wonder about the box office results lately? This is why Marvel fails. Lack of respect for comics, for fans, for their own product, for God's sakes. DeMeo continues, quote, "It's a broken machine. And so I can see where Matt and his team probably had great ideas only for Marvel's arrogance to destroy them," unquote.
Man, it's information like this that just goes a long way towards explaining why the MCU is in trouble today.
Yeah, it's as plain as the nose on your face. Well, on my face, you don't seem to have a nose.
Shut up.
So, there you go, my friends. Bo DeMeo was recounting his own experiences in working inside Marvel Studios to defend Matt Shankman on Fantastic Four, but in the course of that, he explained a lot about why Marvel has been all but destroyed. All I can say is, before they waste umpty bazillion dollars on Avengers Doomsday, maybe they should all read just a few comic books. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.